Hello, this is Dr. Hyde again, continuing with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is the second video number 2. Here we go. So when I was in high school, there was a coach named Wallace Shelton. And Wallace Shelton had coached football, boys and girls basketball, baseball, and track at Monterey High School for 21 years. He coached the football team to 5 state titles with a record of 163 wins, 63 losses, 11 ties. He coached several football all-star games. He coached 1 state title in boys basketball. He had never played organized sports himself, but while at UNC Chapel Hill, he became involved in intramural sports, which led to a coaching career. He died in 2002. When I knew him, he was the best English teacher I ever knew, and he also was coaching girls basketball and junior varsity football, trying to kind of go into semi-retirement. Here's a picture of him. One of the things he said that really impressed me was dealing with character and personality. He said personality is what you are in the light, and character is what you are in the dark. In other words, personality is what you show to other people, but character is what you are when maybe nobody else can see you. So let's look at this video dealing with personality versus character.
Character versus personality. Character.
It greeted you at birth. It was there for your first step. Your first mistake. It's with you when you win. When you lose. When you pick yourself up again. In every moment, you can feel it.
Or personality. What we notice right away. How we present ourselves to others. What you see on the outside. What's the difference? Character is the combination of morals and beliefs that dictates how we treat others, our environment, and ourselves. Character. It is the basis on which our every thought, action, and decision is derived. It is the means by which we distinguish between right and wrong.
Here we are.
Pa said that would be enough to pay for the both.
And he was right. But you'll need a slate pencil, unless you already have one.
No, sir, we don't.
Well, that will be another penny. Well, if you weren't planning on buying a pencil, I imagine you're a little short. You just take it along with you anyhow and tell your pa to pay me the next time he comes into town.
No, sir. Cash on the barrel. Pa makes that a strict rule.
And it's a good one. Though most folks find it hard to live by.
We thank you anyway, Mr. Olson.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Character reflects who you are on the inside. It goes beyond what the casual eye can see. It will determine what you will stand for and what you will or will not yield to. On the other hand, society puts so much emphasis on what people are like on the outside, as if those are the only things that matter. Here is the saddest fact of all. Changing the outside just to fit in, without improving who we are on the inside, has caused many disappointments, lost friendships, and bad scenes.
Okay, so that's a little video about the difference between character and personality, and obviously that speaker said that character is more important. So your character map, or your paradigm through which you see the world, is very important. But where does it come from? And why does it really matter? Let's say you have the wrong character map, that you think the way to get ahead in life is to be a criminal. So you get caught and you're thrown in jail. You just say, well, I just have to try harder to be a better criminal, or be more diligent, or double your speed. You just get back to prison that much quicker, I guess. Get to the wrong place faster, or work on your attitude. You'll be happy being a criminal, I guess. Okay, so that's the wrong character map. What if you have the right map? Then your behavior does help. You'll work hard to get ahead. Attitude will make a difference. So here's a little example that I often use. Let's say that you arrive in a town and you arrive at the airport and you want to get to the art museum. And so you ask the guy at the car rental desk to give you a map, and he provides this map. You can see the airport up here in the upper left-hand corner, and down here I've circled the art museum. So you're going to try to follow those roads to get to the art museum, one way or the other. Okay? So you get in your car, and while referring to the map, you start driving. Only it turns out he gave you the wrong map. That's a map for another town, and it really looks like this. Here's the airport, and here's the art museum. What happens if you follow that wrong map? You'll get to the wrong place faster, or you'll get lost. So it's vitally important that we have the right map. So we need to understand our maps and where they come from. Now this is a saying I don't much like, but it's probably true. All our maps are subjective. In other words, we see the world according to the way we were conditioned when we were young. Conditioning by our coach, by our teacher, by our minister, by our parents, by our siblings, our friends. Let me give you one example of that. When I was in the 4th grade, I had a teacher named Miss Council. And I was sitting in the classroom I was sitting on an aisle, and behind me there was a little girl, and she kept poking me in the back of the neck with her pencil, and it hurt. I said, quit. She wouldn't stop. She kept poking it. I guess she was trying to flirt with me, but what do I know about flirting in the 4th grade? So finally I just said, stop or else. And she said, or else what? She kept poking me. So I balled up my fist and turned around, and I was going to let her have it. Well, Miss Council didn't see the girl poking me with the pencil. She only saw this little boy about to hit a little girl. She hurried down that aisle, jerked me up out of that seat, and just started shaking me by the shoulders while she held on to me. And while she shook me, she said, you never hit a girl. You don't even think about hitting a girl. Never even raise your fist at a girl. You don't hit girls. You treat them with respect. Went on and on for about 5 minutes, and then slammed me back down into that desk. I was conditioned. I learned that you don't hit girls. I didn't spank my daughters when I was growing up. I never hit my wife. I was conditioned that way. Now, not everybody's conditioned that way. I guess some men in the mountains are conditioned to think you got to slap a woman around, but I think they have the incorrect map. But it's all a matter of conditioning. So our maps affect our attitudes and our behaviors. My attitude about how to treat a woman and how I behave towards a woman is a reflection of my map of life or my paradigm of life. But if your map is flawed, then changing attitudes and behaviors does little good. If you think it's the best way to get ahead is to be a criminal, just changing your attitude to be more positive or trying harder doesn't get you anywhere except back to prison again. So here's a little video called Get Service. Now this guy's going to put on some glasses, which creates a paradigm shift for him.
Kid, every time I'm pulling out of here right there, man, I'm just wanting to talk to his parents, if they're ever at home. What is up with the traffic today? And always, every day, this intersection's always crap. I hate pulling out of here. I need someone who's down the road. Oh, there's... Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great, lady. Princess of... Sure. Take this spot. Way to be considerate. Oh. Kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh. About time. Let's see, what do I want? Yeah, can I add a cookie to that? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem, any guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookie. The world, your oyster. Thanks, sir. I'll take it for you. Yeah, I'll do that right now. No problem. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience. Great. Yeah. Great. Great for me. Win it again. Unbelievable. World. What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? Oh, new copy, sir. I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, what?
Hey, buddy, come here.
So those glasses gave that guy a paradigm shift. Okay, so there are it is possible to change your map, as that man in that video that you just saw had a change in his map miraculously by a pair of glasses. But most of us can't get that. But have maps ever been changed? Yes, we used to believe the world was flat. We'd say, you sail out in the ocean past the dragons and you fall off the world. And now thanks to astronomy, we have learned that the world is round. We used to believe that you got sick because you had bad blood and people put leeches on you and bleed out the bad blood. Now we believe in germ theory, that germs make you sick. And you say, what are germs? I can't see them. Well, you have to look through a microscope. They're really small. But we've all accepted that paradigm shift. We used to believe that the only way you could have government to rule over you was a king appointed by divine right, or the strongman like Genghis Khan. And then along came the United States and said government should be by the people. We were probably the laughing stock of the world when we said that. But now that's pretty much accepted worldwide. So it is possible to have paradigm shifts. In fact, as Covey points out, there has been a shift from the character ethic to the personality ethic. The subtitle of this book, if you look on the title page, says Restoring the Character Ethic, which is one of the major purposes of the 7 Habits. So let's listen to Covey talk about the importance of paradigms.
So much of what we do in our personal lives and at the office is the result of the paradigms we hold. And what we do, in turn, affects the results we get.
Thanks for coming to the meeting today, everyone.
The word paradigm comes from the Greek root paradigma, meaning pattern. The pattern we expect to see, or the mental image of the way things are. We see everything through the perspective of our own paradigm. If you see your industry as one where growth is impossible, how does that affect what you do every day? And what results do you think you'll get from your actions? On the other hand, suppose you saw unlimited prospects for growth in your industry. How would that change your actions? What we see, our paradigms, determine what we do, which in turn determines what we get. And unless we consciously stand apart from and examine our paradigms, we might never see that perhaps many of them are distorted, short-sighted, or just flat out wrong. I remember a mini paradigm shift I experienced one Sunday morning on a subway in New York City. People were sitting very quietly, some reading, some resting with their eyes closed. Suddenly, a man and his children entered the subway car. The children ran yelling to the car, throwing things, grabbing people's newspapers. Their father sat down near me and closed his eyes and did nothing. I felt irritated. I could not believe he would let his children run wild like that. After a few minutes of patience and restraint, I turned to him and said, "Sir, your children are really disturbing a lot of people. I wonder if you could control them just a little more."
Yeah, you're right. I should do something. But we just came from the hospital where your mother died about an hour ago, and I guess they don't know how to handle it. Because I don't know how to handle it.
Can you imagine how I felt at that moment? My paradigm shifted. Suddenly I saw things differently. And because I saw differently, I thought differently. I felt differently. I acted differently. My irritation vanished. Compassion flowed freely. I wanted to help instead of criticizing and complaining. Once you see things as they really are, you'll think, feel, and act differently. And you'll do it automatically, spontaneously. Can you see why paradigms are deeper than attitudes and behavior? If you want to make minor changes in your life, work on your behavior. But if you want to make significant quantum breakthroughs, work on your paradigms.
Good story, huh? So that was a paradigm shift. Those wild kids he thought needed to be tamed and put in their place. And that was his view of the situation. That was what he thought. But once he had the paradigm shift, he viewed the situation differently. He thought differently about those kids. And his feelings went from anger and irritation to wanting to help. And so he probably asked, what can I do to help? His behavior changed. So when we have a paradigm shift, things can change. You may have seen this. This is a famous picture. What do you see? You might see an old woman or a young woman. Now, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but of an old woman, this is her nose, here's her mouth, and her scraggly chin. The young woman, she's looking the way. Here's an eyebrow and her little petite nose. Here's her ear. She's looking away from us, and this is a choker around her neck. So maybe you can see one, maybe you can see the other, maybe you can see both. It's all in your paradigm. So whenever you see a slide come up and in the lower right-hand corner it's got Steve's Gems, this means it's not from the Covey's book, but I got it from somewhere else or dreamed it up on my own. So I'm saying there that what we need for a paradigm shift is a change of heart, not just our behavior. Change your old heart for a new heart. Behavioral change will not last without a change of heart. Think of people that have been in prison and they get out, but they still want to be thieves. So they go right back to their ways. Or somebody that goes through rehab to overcome alcoholism, and then they fall back in with their friends who are all drinking, and they can't wait to get another drink. They have to change their heart or their desires, not just their behavior. If we can truly change a person's heart, his attitudes and feelings, he will change his behavior, and that will be more permanent. So how do we change this map? Sometimes a crisis in our life changes a map. So you may have a heart attack, or someone in your family dies, your spouse, a child, a parent, and then you view life differently, you start living your life differently. But you can also change your map or your paradigm of life with your own effort. And that's what we're trying to do in this course by going through the 7 habits. So this is the end of video 2. As I said, I'm trying to keep these rather short so that you stay interested, and then you can view video 3. Thank you for your time.